I remember looking for months and weeks and months at what they held, the knowledge they held about barbed wire, because barbed wire was brand new in the lineage. And then I saw that it's a living lineage, that every new person that is alive gathers information, is a seeker of information, data, and knowledge, and enters it into that lineage. And as a keeper, then passes it on to the next person. And that person then also expands it. So the wisdom keeper and seeker are not two different entities. They're one and the same.
Welcome
To another episode
of the new year
DrivingToTheRez.
of your favorite podcast.
You said to the new year.
I messed up.
With your favorite hosts,
Larry and
Inelia. And for the second hour, our panelists. Yay!
right. I was driving
You were?
back from the mountains when I went skiing.
Which mountain?
I went to Crystal Mountain. I mean,
Nice.
it's irresistible. Crystal Mountain.
Yes.
I haven't even looked at the other mountains to go skiing. Anyway, I was driving back, and this fella at the auto parts store, he saw the magnet you put on the side of our truck. It says, Driving to the Res. And it has a little QR code. And he clicked on it, and he's like, what do you guys do? What is your podcast all about? I love it. He loved it, and he didn't even listen yet. I said, well, my wife's psychic, and, she looks at things that's going on. She likes to really look at them, look at those things. And we talk about, it could be UFOs, it could be Sasquatches, it could be meditations, it could be COVID stuff, it could be anything. And then we talk about it for a little while. She writes an article, and then in our second hour, we have a panel full of experts in their fields, and they're diverse fields.
They are diverse.
We have doctors and engineers,
HR, architects,
corporate execs. We have all the things.
All the things.
All things covered. So we talk about that for after a while. And he's like, "Oh, I can't wait."
Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty excited. So we have a new listener. Yeah.
Hi, new friend. Hi. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So I think this week's newsletter, which you wrote yesterday or day before yesterday, I think it's about what we're about.
Yes, it's called This Is Why I Find You Interesting.
Okay.
And by you, I mean our audience. Although I find you interesting too, darling.
Thank you.
Okay, shall I read a little bit of it?
Yep, let's read a bit.
Okay. During 2024, Larry, the team, and I reviewed our why to continue our work.
Because good, strong why is important.
It is very important.
You ain't got a why, you probably just drop it.
Yeah, you're not going to succeed without a strong why. And the work being delivering the message of empowerment. That's my personal way to describe what I've been doing the past 15 years. Anyways, one of the things we looked at was who was our audience and who we wanted as our audience. Who was it we wanted to have a continued conversation with? What words would encapsulate an accurate description of my readers, students, and our audience? Because, I have readers and I have students, and then we have an audience.
Indeed, and oftentimes they are, I would say, eclectic enough to be resistant to being pigeonholed in this one little, they're UFO people, or they're Sasquatch people, they're truthers, or they're
spiritualists,
unities, or there's a whole bunch of categories people tend to get put into.
Yeah, they tend to get put into that. Mavericks would be a better description. But I actually do have the perfect words to describe our audience. To describe you who are listening to this.
Let me hear it.
Okay, let me just continue with the article and then I'll go on.
Okay. Teasing us.
DrivingToTheRez, of course, expands on my work to a huge degree. Larry and our panelists bring enormous insights and paths to the topics I bring up for you to read and learn about. I, personally, sat with the question of who I wanted to continue this dialogue with. Who is it that I found interesting on the planet? In other words, why was it that I found you, my readers and students, and our audience to be interesting? The answer came in slowly and solidly. It is because you are a wisdom keeper and a wisdom seeker, just like me.
Mm-hmm.
Often we find people who are just like us interesting, don't we?
Indeed. Yeah. It's the wisdom seeking, right? That seems to be one of the first threads that comes in. But I find that all of those who come seeking are keepers.
Yes.
They're wisdom keepers also.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a strong wisdom seeker who can be a wisdom keeper.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know.
Otherwise, you're just a repeater.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Recorder. Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed, the articles that they're intending to podcast, the novels, the courses, books, and workshops are all aimed at teaching you everything I know and everything I am learning myself.
Right.
Many people have said it. The more you learn, the more you realize you know nothing at all.
Oh dear, isn't that the truth?
This is why every great wisdom keeper on the planet is also an insatiable wisdom seeker forever.
True. Yeah, I mean, I didn't need to be told in class to go read this book. I already read that book.
Yes, indeed.
And all the other ones in the library.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. This realization, the realization that you and I are cut from the same cloth, that we are both wisdom keepers and seekers, and that it is why I find you fascinating and interesting, infused me with an energy and enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. It is, when you have a conversation with someone with their cup all the way full.
It's impossible.
It's like,
oh my gosh.
Please dump some.
I have one of those in my family.
You do?
Yes, my brother. OMG. He thinks that literally he knows everything. And he remembers everything accurately throughout his life. And time again, I have shown him that that's not the case. And he gets so mad. So mad. And it's like, yeah, his cup is full.
That's it, right? A wisdom seeker.
He's not a
need to be sure
seeker.
and pour some of that water out all the time. Keep it about half full. You don't want to keep it all the way full because,
Or increase your container.
Oh, wow, that's a creative thought. Make a bigger glass.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
I'll go for that. So we are
Allow yourself.
We are the bigger glass club.
Yeah.
The bigger glass club.
Yeah. Allow yourself room for new information, data, insights, and viewpoints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have found, I don't know, there's been some kind of an acceleration, it feels like, because I pretty much knew everything for a long time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. My cup was pretty full. And then I took on challenging jobs, and that made my cup, just like you said, made my cup a giant. I was like, oh no, I don't know nothing about this. And then I slowly filled that cup up with all this knowledge and experience, and pretty soon I had a full cup again, and it was a pretty big cup. And then I went and giant cupped it over again, and I again, all of a sudden I knew nothing, At some point, filling that cup up, I found that, you know what?
What?
I don't want this cup full.
Which one?
The cup I was filling up, the new big cup. Like, I think that's the wrong path for me. So I jumped out of that cup. I went to a whole different cup.
And which one was that one?
The cup with you, honey. The cup with you.
Oh. You jumped out of the cup with me?
I jumped out of the cup that didn't have you in it.
Oh, I see.
I jumped into another cup. And that cup is as vast as a planet that I didn't even know existed outside of our own tiny little containment.
Is that the cup with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Cup with you is that giant one.
All right.
So now it's a very, very, very big cup to fill.
Yes. One could say that we cannot feel it in one lifetime.
One could say that.
And every time we think we get to the edge of it, boom, another new universe opens up and we have to explore thousands of things, new things that we never imagined.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
It reminds me a little bit of a book I'm reading, a series that you introduced me to. A fella, he got into a little bit of an argument with his brother, right? Who happened to be the king.
Yes.
And so he figured the best way to resolve his problem was to die.
Yes.
But not die.
No.
Actually, just transfer his soul from the body he was in to another body.
Well, he figured he would transfer his soul and body to a different world. But it failed.
He only managed his soul.
Yeah, only his soul transferred.
So he incarnated into a new body who had just died.
Yes. So it was a walk-in,
on a new planet. Yeah, he was a walk-in. And he woke up in a whole different universe and planet.
Yes.
In other words, a whole new giant cup.
And instead of being hundreds and hundreds of years old, he was like 20.
18. It's quite fascinating.
So his body was undeveloped and yeah. That's I like that book. This series, this genre is called progression fantasies.
Progression.
Yeah, because you progress from nothing and then you develop throughout the books or book. And eventually you end up, with everything on the planet basically that you want. I really like those books.
So far, it's pretty good.
That genre, yeah. But it's very similar to that.
I guess the point of my analogy is that you're not stuck in whatever cup you happen to be in.
Right. Yeah.
You jump cups and you can make a bigger cup.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And you can make that stretch. You can make it bigger by becoming curious and being open to hear what other people are saying. I often find myself in the past when somebody was interviewing me and they would say, like, they would have their own opinion on something.
Yeah.
And that sometimes would be completely in conflict with what I was saying myself. But instead of going on the defense of my viewpoints, which they were doing, some of them, I would be quiet and listen and deeply listen to what they were saying. And then sometimes I would go, oh, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, right? That's really interesting. And some others would be, well, if it's true for you, it must be true for you, but it's not true for me, right? So we're not stuck on, everything that comes your way is going to expand your awareness, right? But there's a lot of viewpoints out there. And if you start looking through those viewpoints, you'll find that a lot of them are fascinating and interesting. So, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so the energy enthusiasm at finding, we read that part already, right?
No.
This realization, yes, we did, but we'll read it again.
Wisdom seeker forever.
We'll read it again.
The realization.
We'll read it again.
Okay, read it again.
This realization, the realization that you and I are cut from the same cloth, that we're both wisdom seekers and keepers, and that is why I find you so fascinating and interesting, infuse me with energy and enthusiasm. So, when I was coming at the end of 2024, after 14 years of doing the job of delivering the message of empowerment to the masses, and I'm pretty certain now that that was just a ruse to get me working by a certain human collective, Anyways, I was pretty I wasn't. One of the problems that I have is that I lack a sense of curiosity around why we're doing things. But just like I teach, without a strong why, you're probably going to fail sooner or later. And the why of delivering the message of empowerment to create empowered individuals on the planet, it was a strong why for 14 years, but then it ran out of steam. And it was because it was too generalized. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, pretty nebulous too.
Yeah, nebulous as well.
No
So
real.
it ran out of steam. So throughout the 2024 and including to the end of it, I was looking at 2025 and thinking, yeah, I think I don't know how I can continue this. I didn't feel any sense of accomplishment. I didn't see anything that was particularly strong, and we talked about that on our last podcast,
Yeah,
didn't
we did.
and then when looking at the energies we're bringing forth and looking at, okay, who do I want to continue this conversation with? Who is this audience that is actually interesting? I remembered the Woo for Thought, the articles that we write, and also the conversations that come up on the Fridays after party for the podcast.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
Yeah. And I realized it was like, oh, yeah, wisdoms. And then there was also a conversation that was ongoing about individuals feeling shy about sharing our work. I mean, and how do you describe it? Yeah. And being deeply embedded in the victim aggressor cycle, many individuals started calling us a cult. And I'm like, how does a cult fit into my culture? Because with my people, the culture I come from, or the cultures I come from, that doesn't exist. I mean, that doesn't even get invented, right? It
Yeah.
hasn't even been invented, that type of victim aggressor stuff. And like, yeah, nobody would call their tribal shaman a cult leader. But what would they call them instead? A wisdom keeper and wisdom seeker, right?
You're right.
And the match is very much like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense now. Okay, so we'll explain that's what it is. And as soon as I explained it to myself, it infused me with energy because it's like it made sense now. It was
Right.
a strong why.
It feels comfortable to put the mantle on. The mantle of a wisdom keeper and a wisdom seeker.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody was asking me about the Machi lineage. I that was we're going to look at it more closely next podcast, but it's like it came in through two individuals, and at age 7 and at age 30 something, I don't remember exactly what age I was. I mean, I could figure it out from the year I was there at her village and everything, but definitely 30 something. Oh, 20 something. No, I think it was 30 something. I'll have to figure it out. But, anyways, adult, right? And what really struck me from that second one, because she was wide open to receiving the other lineage that I received at 7. So that is the seeker, yeah? And it was common to do this as two matches meet. They share their lineages. They're seekers. But also, of course, they have that lineage, which is the keeper. And one of the things that really fascinated me around that was the way in which part of her lineage included barbed wire.
Barbed wire.
Yeah. So it wasn't just herbs and plants and animals and seasons and, different realms of reality that we in the West might call the astral realm or interdimensional travel or scrying and all these things, or remote viewing. We have all sorts of different names for these things. So it wasn't just that. So I remember looking for months and weeks and months at this. It was fascinated me what this lineage, her lineage, what they held, the knowledge they held about barbed wire, because barbed wire was brand new in the lineage. And then I saw that it's a living lineage, that every new person that is alive gathers information, is a seeker of information, data, and knowledge, and enters it into that lineage. And as a keeper, then passes it on to the next person. And that person then also expands it. So the wisdom keeper and seeker are not two different entities. They're one and the same. And as I was looking at that, then it's like, of course, that's who interests me on Earth, right? So 2025 is going to be really fascinating because we're going to be talking a lot about the wisdom that I managed to acquire.
Yes.
And we'll continue to acquire. I mean, even this week or month, actually, past few weeks, I've acquired a new skill within the alchemical lineage that I carry in creating power objects. And I'm not talking about the power objects that we created for Christmas gifts. I'm talking about a new one. And I was working with one of those objects for the past few weeks, and I was tinkering with it and working with it and everything. And then yesterday we took it to Sunday lunch. And then I asked different individuals to hold it and see what could they perceive around this. And each person perceived different parts of it, which was fascinating. It was really fascinating, actually.
Even
like, the
blindest wisdom seeker, remember?
Oh, the one that's always saying he can't see anything, but actually he can see a lot.
Yes.
He got a good telling off from me.
He got a good telling off.
But anyways, so afterwards I saw that it needed a little bit more work, and I'm still working on that one, but then a few of them wanted some, so now I have orders to fulfill.
Orders for these objects, yes.
But what fascinated me was that, not fascinated me, but I'm using this as an example of the wisdom seeker, because I didn't know that this was even possible a few weeks ago, that such an object could be created. I had no idea. No idea. And that wisdom started coming in from the lineage. And we can talk about that in a different podcast, how lineages work, as different lineages work very differently from each other. This is not the Machi lineage. This is an alchemist lineage from Europe that I inherited from my granddad.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's like that, and as a seeker, as well as a keeper, I'll be fascinated to share the new things that are coming in. And I'm also really excited about the fact that on Earth, the energies are the split, going from light to dark, from light dark to light. Because it might look like we're still very much in the like dark, and I can explain how that happens, But the move that we're moving into is the light, and I'm able to share more of these things and how to do things and all these things. But anyways, that's why to me it became really interesting. So I have a list here. Let me just carry in a little bit more.
Okay.
It is weird that sometimes all we need to continue on our path is to realize who we are and who our readers, students, and audience is.
Connect.
Yeah, connect, right?
Connect with who you are and who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And sometimes defining it helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or at least, like for me, it was like a light switch. It's like, who am I talking to? And you have a hard time talking to a screen because who is it that I'm talking to, right?
Yeah.
Who is it? And what are they interested in? Who are they? And these kind of things. And so at an individual, like person level, I don't know who all these people are, but the ones that I've met are interesting and from all over the place, like at the outside of the auto parts store, all the way to from Europe and Eastern Europe, all over the place.
Yeah.
But when I'm thinking like I'm talking to this person, like that one person that I can use as an imaginary who am I talking to right now, I adjust through the talk, like who am I talking to now? I would talk to that person. I would talk to that person. I would be like pretending I'm talking to that person. That'd be a way to have the conversation, but it really was limited in scope of who it is that I'm talking to, right? Because it's really only everyone who's like Fred, maybe, or Kara or Ash or whoever it would be, I think I'm talking to. But when we Make it wisdom keepers and wisdom seekers. That's much broader.
Yeah.
Much
Totally.
more. It's interesting.
It is. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Next was to really look into the areas of expertise that I'm interested in working with and teaching you.
You're interested in? I think
Yes.
we need to fix that word, honey.
Interested in.
Interested.
And yeah, interested in working with and teaching you, the audience. Because I am a teacher. What can I tell you?
Okay.
And everybody who's the audience is probably, you can relate. You're always teaching stuff. I came up with a list. If you like the list, I look forward to a continued relationship. Do you want to hear the list?
Yes.
Okay. Understanding how the universe works.
What? How the universe works?
Uh-huh.
Yes. I was just listening to the smartest man in the entire planet talking about that.
And?
It was very interesting, the that he had. All of his dots and the connectors and then the insights. And he lived his life as a bouncer.
Yeah.
Instead of like a professor of mathematics at the top university. He's like, I'll be a bouncer. It's like this you go like, well, why? Well, why? And it turned out in many ways, he liked to have time to think. And he didn't have to do anything but think while he was a bouncer.
Yep.
That didn't cause much demand on my time and it paid me fine. So
yeah,
I could pursue my studies without interruption. And in the university, he was not well received because he asked questions too much instead of
he was expanding the
conversation cup. Right, he was
expanding the cup, and then the people there had their cups full and they couldn't handle it.
Right. So understanding how the universe works, that's a pretty big cup. Okay.
Next topic, learning about the true nature of the physical plane,
which obviously many of people assume is the entirety of reality. Whereas obviously there's a different line than the universe.
Yes.
The universe includes physical planes and non-physical planes.
Exactly, you got it. Exploring the edges of the nature of human reality and interactions.
Right, that mental world that you create and the mental is the co-created reality experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Using the mental construct that you have. I like agreed to.
Yeah.
Rules of engagement type stuff.
Yeah, but also like, for example, the physical universe around us, it has a little bit of hazy sunshine, some trees, a lake, forests around us, some plants and flowers. That would be, and a house.
And chickens.
Chickens, dogs, cats.
Plants.
Yeah. It has all these things, right? Physical universe. And then we enter into the human universe of, well, this land belongs to us and we live here. This is our home. How do we feel here? Do we feel safe? Do we feel warm? Do we feel cold? Do we feel afraid? All these things are the human constructs.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
How do we respond and react?
Yeah.
That type of conversation.
And how we interact with each other and other humans in this area. Right. So that would be the difference. And yeah, the co-creation of reality. Next, knowing and navigating the split in our reality. The split.
The split.
And with that, I mean the split between light, dark, and light.
The separation of incompatible reality constructs.
Yes. Understanding mystical and magical mechanizations and methods.
Mystical and magical? Yeah, that takes some understanding. That's a giant cup.
Yes.
Everything from illusion to reality creation
Yeah.
fits in there.
Yeah. Learning how to impart wisdom in effective ways. Why do you laugh at that one?
It's because this has been the theme of, I think, the last couple of weeks or month. The it seems like it matters not what you say; it only matters what they heard.
Yeah.
And
And
you
then
could
if
say
you can
literally the same thing
10,000
3 times, and
times.
3 times the same words, and the person you're talking to will hear 3 different things,
And then remember three more
and then
different
come back with you
things
3 different things. Yeah,
a
so
week
it's like
later.
that means something's going on fishy, because I don't remember it being quite so. Either I wasn't paying attention good, or things are a little bit more or less like solid, because I swear I could say the 3 words, and those 3 words are as direct as it can be, and that still doesn't work
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's more severe.
More severe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it has amplified.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed it when I'm listening to people who have audiences who are talking to them, will say, I did not say that. I didn't mean that. And I really, truly, I don't know how more clear I can be. Here, I'll say it again. This blah, 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 and that blah, blah, blah. And I don't know where anyone will get the idea that that means this blah, 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 because I never implied it. I never said it. I never thought it. And I've never felt like that ever in my entire life, or said that in my entire life. So I don't know where it comes from, these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that in other people who are talking,
Who are the people?
other podcasters.
Oh, they're having it too then.
Yeah.
All right. Where is it?
Learning how to impart wisdom.
Yeah, that was it. No, that was the reading we're talking about. Alchemical, magical, and shamanic lineages. That's the only ones that I can talk about. That's the ones that I carry with me. Well, I can talk about others, but not from a perspective of knowledge and profession.
Alchemical, magical, and shamanic lineages, right?
Yes.
Living lineages.
Living lineages, yes. Yeah. The true nature of the human collective.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll be interesting,
Yeah.
right? And that's the only list I made. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but these are the ones that I think we can begin with for 2025, going forward.
What about aliens? Aliens and Sasquatches and
Well,
those. Where is that line dot? Is that going to be on?
That one will be
Edges of nature of human reality and interaction.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's exploring the edges of the nature of human reality and interaction.
Yes,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
And the larger Earth and all that stuff goes in there too.
Okay.
Okay, those are the few things I'm interested in exploring and expanding on. Of course, a true discourse goes both ways, which is why I have allied myself with others in creating ways in which we can meet and discuss these things at different levels of engagement. Saying that, the easiest way to join the conversation is by subscribing to our podcast at DrivingToTheRez.com.
Right, and I understand we all have a lot of demands on our subscriptions. I get them in my thing a lot too. Like, do I still listen to this? Do I still listen to this? What's this? Why do I have that one? I mean, sometimes these can be a bit much, but I have to tell you, from this side of the table, when we had our looking ahead at 2025 call with our subscribers, and without having to deal with the public stuff, deal with the censorships, or the rules of this platform or that platform, or the who's listening, are they up to speed? Are they actually wisdom seekers? Are they here to interfere? What's going on with this? The whole energy of our ability to communicate was so dramatically different. I really don't know if I can have a public conversation to the degree that we can have a subscribers, like supporting both each other.
Yeah.
So that conversation is so much better.
Yeah. And it's only $8 a month.
Yeah, it's only $8 a month, and it's well worth it.
Yeah, it's a cup of coffee at Starbucks these days. I don't know. It's really
no, a cup of coffee costs more.
Last time I bought one, I was like, what the hell? Like this. Yeah. So, yeah.
If I had the, if I like, so these were the 5 dots or 6 or 8 dots that you'd putting on there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Driving to the Res, the subscribers podcast, goes on for an hour and a half more past the end of this first half hour in the newsletter that we write.
Yeah.
And it includes experts in their fields, engineers and architects and doctors and corporate HR. I mean, every professional walk of life to some degree or other is represented in our panel.
Yes.
And us.
Yes.
A conversation uncensored with us every week.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
I know.
That's worth it.
Worth the time. Because, it's peanuts, really, what you'll be paying.
Right.
But the time that you're going to spend listening.
You get a couple hours of focused attention. You get an hour conversation with us on Fridays at 10 or 9.
Yeah.
Pretty sure 9.
And of course, I will continue to send emails throughout 2025 and beyond. Make sure to open and read them. And there's no point being a wisdom keeper if you don't wisdom seek.
So read them. Read them.
Read them.
Read them and share them with your fellow wisdom
Listen to
seekers.
the first hour, or first half hour, whatever. Yeah. The first part of our podcast. And now, without further ado,
let's move on to the second part.
Yeah.
And see if
here are our panelists.
I'd like to hear our panelists' topics that they want to, the areas of expertise that they're interested in working with and teaching.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
At least a couple of dots from each,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
Perfect.
You ready to do the snap the fingers?
Okay.
So, just so you know, this is one of those magic lineage things, right?
What?
When we snap it, it goes right to where it's supposed to.
Hi, everybody. We're back. Second half of Driving to the Res. Hi, Larry.
Hi there.
Hi, Inelia.
Hi.
Here we are with our panelists, and we're talking about This Is Why I Find You Interesting. I'm Ashley Swill. I'm CEO of iBenz Academy, iBenz Method Mentor, corporate HR leader, mystic, and yoga teacher.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Kara Kinsigley. I'm a pedagogy expert, an entrepreneur, a gamer, and mystic.
Hi, I'm Fred Guerin, aerospace engineer, dancer, pilot, student of the occult, and stuff.
And stuff.
I love that part, the stuff. Leave it open. I'm Ileana Rogero. I'm a mystic, mentor, psychic meditation teacher, architect, and founder of El Método iBenz, the official channel of Inelia's work in Spanish.
Yay!
And we should also say, mom extraordinaire.
Oh, yes.
I'll add it to my...
Yeah.
We're all wisdom keepers and wisdom seekers.
Yes, we are. So we wanted to dive into a small bit to start of what you shared, Inelia, because our spidey senses went up. You said that you were the message of, or let's say the spreading of the message of empowerment was a trick by the human collective. That's a huge trick. 14 years. What? We need more information on this.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Trick to keep you alive, engaged, interested.
No, it was more to do with So the strong why, right? And when you absolutely have no interest in being a public figure, being famous or known, or leaving a mark,
Rather sit on the side and
observe. If you're just interested in observing and looking at everything, then you need a very strong why to do anything like that. That's opposite to your personality and all of your interests.
Yes, go stand on a stage and talk to thousands of people.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Yeah, whatever, right? And so when it's very similar to how the staying alive as a newborn, it's very similar. But it's slightly different because delivering the message of empowerment is a very active thing. And it's interesting. So, okay. And then I remember one of the first confusing things to me was when I said, well, how do we do that? Right? So how does one go about delivering the message of empowerment? And the answer pretty much was just be yourself. Show yourself as you are. And the first thing then came up in my mind was, I have to create a self.
Join us for the rest of this conversation at DrivingToTheRez.com.
And when you go to DrivingToTheRez.com and you join in the rest of the show, rest of the second hour, you also get to join in the after party. 9 o'clock on Fridays, we all get together, including you.